I mean, as far as I can remember, a little girl, 5 years old, I'm walking to Oury by myself. Then along came my brothers, and there they go with me, alone, walk to Oury from sun up till sundown, walk back home. But, you know, just hanging out at Oury 24/7, go swimming. Like I said, we grew up with, everybody knew everybody, so we were very good friends with some neighbors that lived down the street, the Espinosas, and, you know, basically it was like a day-to-day thing, hanging out with them and being at Oury, playing sports, going to Davis.
You know, there are two parks there. One was Oury Park and one was Esteban Park, and you know, most of the time we were, you know, in the swimming pool or playing football or baseball or.
Played a lot of basketball, sports, Oury Park, baseball team that played there, the Oury Park Tigers.
So it was just like year-round with those sports, and you know, they had a van and we'd go to Oury, and if it was a night we'd play sports, they'd drop us off at home after the sport was over, and if there was no sports going on during the school year, we would just stay at Oury playing pool, foosball. It was open, so we could come in and out as we pleased.
Me growing up here, always at the basketball court, always there. Going to the pool before they shut it down. That was always fun. Always looked forward to that.
We used to go to Oury Park, and of course we had the small Oury Park swimming pool, which they usually didn't clean till the end when it was time for cleaning. Then they closed the pool and they chased us out.
They had a swimming pool there, elevated. Changed the water on Thursday, I think. There was no filter. It got a little, wasn't too clear there after
on Wednesdays, Thursdays.
Después que pusieron una alberca ahí, la piscina, it used to be so much fun, so much fun.
And my dad was the first lifeguard of Oury Park, of the swimming pool in Oury Park. And when I was having my house built in 1995, I was still going into that pool.
And the pool, Oury Park pool, I guess when it was built, there was still some racism. And so I guess people of certain colors would go on a certain day or not go at all. Well, I'm sure you're going to hear, if you talk to some of the older people, about the sequía that used to run right in the back of where my grandmother lives, right there. And they all used to go swimming.
And at that time, there was a river here. Había una sequía, y tenían carreras de caballos también.
Canal that ran right through, and I think I remember that it actually ran underneath a couple of houses. So I think I remember looking through the wood floor and the water.
Oh wow!
Huh. And it went all the way, I guess, to Millville Farms.
Yeah.
And we'd play in the water, and it was right there between Davis School and Oury Park.
But at the sequía, everybody was welcome. So everybody just used that. So that was a nice thing when my dad was growing up.
During the year, I mean, a lot of people had to be home at a certain time, but not us, not people in the neighborhood that we grew up with. Oury would have from school, we'd walk to Oury, and they'd have an after school program that was free for us, and we would just go there, do homework or play outside, or they had a lot of sports going on. So every season there was a sport, and my brothers and I were always involved with the sports. And
what sports were those?
Like volleyball, basketball, soccer. We did a lot of soccer. There used to be a 76 across the street. So if we had money, we'd run there. And if we didn't have money, we'd ask somebody at Oury for money, like Chino or any other workers. We'd be like, hey, we want to go get a soda. Give us some money. And they would. You know, in the summer, they had a summer program. The summer program ended at, 4 or 5 pickup? Not for the neighborhood kids. We were there till 10 o'clock at night waiting for Chino or somebody to drop us off at home. And they would. He'd be in his red truck and he'd come by and just drop us off. And it was like that every single day.
I remember that we used to have Richard Gonzalez was his name, and he was one of the oldest of the neighbors of the group there. And he had a little shed that we converted into a little, what we called the clubhouse, you know. And some of the guys that, you know, we'd spend our time listening to Fats Domino and some of those old Motown songs, you know, in our little 45s, you know, records. And then we started drinking beer and smoking, and when at a very young age, you know. And you know, it was, you know, you grow up and you realize, okay, well, this is not good, you know, so you have to kind of change course.
We used to put many pennies on the track and let the trains flatten the pennies. And we used to dare each other how quickly you could run across before the train hit you. That was another dare we used to do. Stuff like that, you know, it's the kids.
Benching at the train tracks, watching the trains pass by all the time, getting inspired from the art on the trains. That was one thing we did growing up. We called it benching. Just sit there and watch all the trains pass by.
Downtown was our playground, you know, and I think I was telling somebody the other day, one of my grandkids, that we used to wait for the freight trains coming out of town, heading towards town. And we used to go ahead and jump, you know, and that would give us a free ride all the way downtown. But then you never realized how dangerous it was, you know, because you had to be pretty fast on your feet to be able to grab that ladder and go with the speed of the train, you know.
Like, how old were you when
I think back then I was about maybe 14, maybe 14, 15 years old. We used to go downtown at least a good 4 or 5 days out of the week at night. And, you know, then when I first got my first car, then we used to, you know, just ride downtown, go down Speedway. But downtown was our hub, more or less, of just, you know, playing around at going to the movies. Going to the movies. Back then, you go to the movies for 50 cents, maybe even less. Pay to get into the theater, and then you had enough for a hamburger and a hot dog and sodas.
Here's the funny thing, I didn't really hang out with the kids around here. Everybody was in the more gangs. I was really into painting. So I kind of tilted a different way and painted. I do know everybody here from like growing up, all the kids my age, but I didn't have the same outlook as them. Like, I really needed to paint. I really needed to draw. Like, it was a thing I had to do, and I just had to.